Hi everyone, welcome to DFTW Live, a channel to see the world differently. Here, Mark Wong would like to talk about Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. Several hours before Nancy Pelosi landed in Taiwan, we uploaded a video about her trip, saying she would visit Taiwan on the evening of August the 2nd, 2022. On the YouTube platform, we should be one of the very few, if not the only one, that predicted Nancy Pelosi would visit Taiwan and China mainland would not down her plane from the sky. Also, China mainland and United States would not have a military conflict because of her trip to the island. Several hours later, she landed in Taiwan and there was no conflict between China and the United States. And Beijing's live fire exercises started after Nancy Pelosi left the island, meaning both the United States and China mainland do not want to engage themselves in a conflict. China wants a peaceful life to develop itself, and it is still trying to get Taiwan back peacefully, although the chance of solving the Taiwan issue peacefully is very low after Nancy Pelosi's visit. For the United States, it is not ready to have a war with China, and it may not be ready forever. In 1996, China mainland wanted to solve the Taiwan issue, and the Taiwan Strait crisis that year should have solved the Taiwan problem once and for all. But because of a traitor in the Chinese military, a high-rank official betrayed China's top secret. So, in 1996, Taiwan and China mainland did not reunite with each other. In 1996, China was not ready to solve the Taiwan issue, and the United States would likely interfere militarily in China's reunification because China's military power was not strong 26 years ago. And at that time, the U.S. Republican House Speaker visited China mainland and also Taiwan. He pointed out that the U.S. did not support Taiwan independence, and it still upheld the One China policy. However, the United States was willing to protect Taiwan militarily, which is his own opinion, personal opinion at that time. 26 years passed, and the U.S. still wants to support Taiwan's independence elements to provoke China mainland. But neither the White House nor the U.S. Army wants to face China directly because China's military power is growing rapidly, and in the West Pacific area, China is number one. So even the United States and all its allies added together, they can hardly gain an upper hand. The United States knows it. That's why when Joe Biden said more than 3 times that the U.S. would protect Taiwan, strengthening America's commitment to Taiwan, the White House immediately rectified his words. So Joe Biden's comments about protecting Taiwan militarily were recalled several times. It means the U.S. is not willing to confront China militarily. The U.S. cannot defeat China at China's doorstep. And in the past several years, the United States conducted several war games. None of them suggested the U.S. would defeat China. So all war games suggested the U.S. would fail. So will the U.S. risk its national interests by interfering militarily in the Taiwan issue? The answer is yes and no. From the perspective of America's overall national interests, it should not stop China's reunification. However, the United States is controlled by a group of politicians. The deep state that controls the United States is a handful of interest groups, particularly the military-industrial complex. They do not care whether the U.S. will win a war or not. They do not care. Even the country fails, it does no harm to those interest groups. Why? Because they believe no warfare will occur in the mainland of America, not even in Canada or Mexico. So, America's national security will not be affected. They do not care whether U.S. troops fail or succeed outside the United States. You can see in Afghanistan, the U.S. troops retreated after 20 years of meaningless military operations. The money spent in Afghanistan was not wasted. They became profits to contractors, mainly weapon manufacturers, arms dealers, and various representatives of interest groups at different levels. So to the United States, it should not have a hot war with China. But for the interest groups which are thirsty, which are eager for bloody profits, they don't care. They might start a war to stop China's rise, to stop China's quick rise. In the past 500 years, no emerging powers could rise peacefully. And till today, China is the only exception. So, will China and the United States engage in a hot war with each other? It is possible, but the likelihood is not very high, because the U.S. military knows it cannot defeat China in the West Pacific, in the South China Sea, let alone in China mainland or across the Taiwan Strait. If defeated, the U.S. will no longer be a superpower. Its allies will not believe it. Its allies like Japan, like France, Germany, they will not believe the United States is still powerful to protect them. So their allies will most likely make friends with China. The loss of a battle or a regional war in the Taiwan Strait will ruin the hegemony of the United States and will eventually harm the interests of those interest groups, including the military-industrial complex. Suppose China defeated the United States in the first island chain. In that case, many countries will not purchase weapons from the United States anymore because they don't think the made in USA weapons could protect them from potential threats once the United States no longer has the support from its allies. It is only a normal country. It is only an ordinary country, no longer a superpower. So today's America is like a skyscraper built on ice. Once the ice thaws, the whole skyscraper will collapse. It will collapse like the former Soviet Union overnight. So it's not wise for the United States to have a war with China. Based on the above-mentioned points, we believe there will be no war between China and the United States, merely because Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan is nothing. So it seems the United States won, and China did not stop Nancy Pelosi from landing in Taiwan. So the question here is, who won and who lost? We can see nobody, we can see no country lost or won. It is a draw. The United States tells the world that it is still powerful. So China dares not go to war with it. Even Nancy Pelosi has visited Taiwan. But for China made one giant leap. Before, Chinese army, Chinese warplanes only patrolled one small part of the Taiwan island. Now, it is conducting 6 military exercises surrounding Taiwan. So literally, China mainland blocks Taiwan for 3 days, from August the 4th to August the 7th. And after this, PLA will patrol the whole island of Taiwan. They will not worry about other countries' interference. In the United Nations, 90% of UN countries regard Beijing, the People's Republic of China, as the sole representative, the only legal representative of China on the world stage. So, even if China mainland takes over Taiwan at a later date because of Taiwan independence elements, most countries will support China. Now we can see the military exercises around Taiwan has demonstrated China has controlled the island from all directions, and it is a gift from Nancy Pelosi to Beijing. Several years ago, Donald Trump made China great again. Here we can see Nancy Pelosi makes China unite again. So in the long run, China wins the battle. China did not shoot down Nancy Pelosi's plane as suggested by Hu Xijin, the former chief of Global Times. But China mainland kept a low profile and let Nancy Pelosi visit Taiwan. It shows Beijing is unwilling to have a war with the United States, but it has won strategically by making progresses, sending its troops around Taiwan. Taiwan is in siege. Taiwan is besieged. So, does Taiwan gain anything politically or economically? No. It has lost a lot. So in the past 2 days, China mainland announced it would stop the import of many products like oranges from the Taiwan island. And very likely, in the future, China mainland may impose more restrictions on imports from Taiwan. Taiwan's economy will feel the pain, and Taiwan's people will eventually realize what the DPP politicians have done and what Nancy Pelosi has done to the island. They ruined the confidence of the people on the island in the DPP authorities and Americans politicians. They will no longer believe U.S. politicians would help Taiwan in case of a military operation from Beijing to take over Taiwan. Taiwan is only a puppet. The Taiwanese DPP authorities, the Taiwan DPP government is only a puppet. And 23 million people on the island are nothing but cannon fodder. So they will realize whether the United States will protect Taiwan. And they know the answer already. As for the biggest winner of the visit, is nobody else but Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi might be sued for leaking sensitive information to her husband to make huge profits from the stock market. Having been regarded as an insider for quite a long time, Nancy Pelosi knows she must create an event, an eye grabbing event to divert American people's anger and frustration away from her and her husband's scandals. We believe in the short run, the Democratic Party might win more votes, but in the long run, the United States is no longer a united country, but a divided country with different partisan interests. When Nancy Pelosi visits South Korea, she cannot meet the South Korean president and foreign minister. It means South Korea knows she is not doing anything constructive to the peace and stability and security of the region. And in Asia, she is not a person welcomed by the Asian people. And even in the United States, very few people support her visiting Taiwan, provoking China. Now, she becomes the most hated lady in China, including China mainland, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and millions of overseas Chinese do not like her. She does not care. She's already 82 years old, and her days might be numbered. However, because of her visit to Taiwan, a new era begins, and the reunification of China, mainland, and Taiwan is not far away. This is what I want to share with the viewers, and thank you very much for watching.